Okay, now I have the pleasure of introducing you to Grant Parr and Graham Betchart. And I am just such a fan of these guys. And they're doing some very, very innovative stuff in the field of mental performance and mindset. And so Graham is longtime mindset guru and coach to huge athletes and sports teams and just, you know, really, I think, oops, Cheryl, okay.
I'm muting.
Really has started this whole movement, I think, and it's growing in strength. And now he's penetrating the corporate world, and which I'm so excited for. We in the corporate space definitely need that mindset shift that athletes are perfecting all the time. And then, of course, Grant Parr, who used to co-facilitate boot camp in Northern California with me, and now he's gone on to really help even more people with mental performance and that mindset shift. So these guys are innovating, and they're innovating in a big way. And so I truly believe we are just at the forefront of some tremendous shifts in mindset improvement and focus. And these guys are combining music and mindset, and super, super excited about what they're doing. So Grant and Graham, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Christy, for having us. Thank you, Wendy and Anita, for setting the energy. Graham and I are really excited. This has been, I don't know, 2 or 3 years in making, as far as the music. But Graham will talk a little bit about his background, but he's been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing this for almost 10. And the fact that we get to be here with all of you, and all of you that are showing up to understand what basically the power of mindset training and music, we're just elated. So real quick, again, Grant Parr, I own a business called Game Face Performance, which is a mental performance company that deals with athletes, teams, coaches, and corporate athletes. Also, I'm co-owner of MaxConscious. This is the company that Graham and I put together with a couple other individuals. And so we mirror mental skills training and music to raise consciousness. And we're focusing on the sales demographic right now. So super excited. Can't wait to share with you the power of mindset training and music. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about our 4 principles that will help you with your job search. And we're also going to talk about how to implement this kind of work. And then we're going to walk you through some meditation work towards the end with our music.
Really amazing, Grant, and just super grateful to be here. Thank you for having us, Christy, for bringing us here. And like Grant said, I've been doing this work. I've been doing it for like 20 years. And it's so funny doing all this mental performance work and all this stuff. As I'm sitting here getting ready to be on this Zoom, you know what I'm feeling? All the nerves in my stomach, my heart is pounding. So I'm like, oh, it's all the same stuff I've always experienced my whole life. Only now I'm telling myself, can't wait to get on and talk. Can't wait to be here, right? So you still have the same human experiences, right? We're still going to have this experience of being alive, of feeling it. But it's mental performance is learning how to work with all this stuff, how to work with all these feelings and to still show up fully present. So I just wanted to share that because at this point, I have been doing it for a while, but I want everyone to know doing this work doesn't mean you don't feel anything anymore. It means as the feelings come to you, you kind of know what to do with them, and that was a big part of mental training for me. I thought confidence and all this work meant that like, oh, I'll never feel uncomfortable, never feel vulnerable, never have any of those feelings. And that's not the case. It's we've learned how to lean into this stuff. So just letting you know, I'm right there with everyone doing this work with you. That's one thing you'll learn. This is a skill set we have to practice. This isn't some like miracle that happens to you. Grant and I, our goal today is to help you become aware. And we think awareness activates your abilities. So all this stuff is already inside of you. What we want to do is wake it up. And then it becomes about repetition. It becomes about practice, and repetition retains your realizations. So this is just like any other skills, right? Once you're aware, hey, we got to practice. And then the practice is not about perfection. It's about progress. We're not here trying to be perfect at any of this. No one's perfect at it. But every day we set our intention to try to make progress, to try to get a little bit better at it. And I'm proud of myself in this moment, 20 years, I'm getting ready to do a presentation to y'all. And I was like, wow, I handled the nerves really well. And first of all, I called them joy. So I was telling myself, pressure is joy. Pressure is joy. Here we go. And that helps me kind of come back into the moment. So I just wanted to say thank you for having us here. Grant and I are going to have a fun time with you. We're going to finish with a fun exercise. And we've been working together for years to combine music and mindset and to bring this all together. So Grant, why don't you kick us off a little bit and tell us about how mindset and music come together and some of the how it works.
Well, I'll start off with a little bit of a story. I think we all like stories, right? So when I was 10 years old, I remember getting my very first CD at Christmas, and it was a rock and roll band. And there was a song on there that just spoke to me. And the song, I played that song before every single football game, and I played football for about 12 years. So from the moment I was 10 years old up until I was 20, my very last game, I listened to this song every single game. It didn't matter if I was at home or away. There was this song. It was part of my routine. And I didn't realize at the time what that meant, what it meant for my confidence, what it meant to harmonize my energy, what it meant to get me locked in, fully present in the moment. So as I fast forward from being 20 years old throughout my life, when I was 40 and I went back to school, to get my master's in sports psychology, and I gained all these tools and all this knowledge, I started to realize the importance of mindset training and music. And I'll take you to the night and the day before my oral exam for my master's program. And Graham and I went to the same school at different times. So we both know how grueling this process was to go through a 2 or 3 hour oral exam. And I remember sitting there in my room and looking at all of this massive poster board paper that I've been plastering my walls with all my notes, been just practicing all my answers for a full week with the music that actually I've been listening to since I was 10 years old. So as I got there and I started to really get locked in with the music and locked in with my training, all my preparation, when it came time to actually pull down all that poster board and to actually get locked in, because we had to do the exam virtually, I sat there in that moment. I did an MVP, which is what we're going to share with you towards the end: meditation, visualization, and powerful self-talk. These are incredible tools. This is something that Graham made up years ago. He created this technique, but I used that technique while I was actually listening to that music, to that song, right before I stepped into that oral exam. And what it did, it increased my confidence and increased my energy. And it just made me honor everything that I did. And I wasn't thinking about, am I going to screw up? Am I going to fail? I was fully locked in because I used the power of music and also mental skills. So that's that's one thing that's helped me. And I realized how powerful that was. So when I teamed up with Graham to make this company, it just makes sense. And we've heard so many people that go through our program, listen to just one song, and they feel the power and the impact of our music.
Huge. It's there's four skills we're going to work with you on today. I want you to leave today going, okay, I know these 4 skills. We've mastered the skills, but you're aware of the skill. And that's our goal, is to have you leave with that today, so we know we can practice it every day. And that's what Grant and I are practicing all the time. And what we found, once you start to become aware of the skills, you put some beats behind it, some music behind it, might stick in your head a little bit. And we're totally used to this in preschool, in kindergarten. Maybe if you're lucky in first grade, maybe second grade, you were still learning with music. And by the time it was middle school and for sure high school, right, the music was gone. And so what we're doing is just going back to that tried and true platform of learning with music. And there's a principle called dual encoding. And dual encoding means if you learn something with melody, you have twice as much of a chance to retain it, for that information to stick with you. and think about learning the ABCs or Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star or Happy Birthday, right? We learn and this stuff is here. Or maybe you don't know, you know the lyrics of a song, but then you hear like the melody of it, and all of a sudden the lyrics come right back into your head. So we've just taken mental training in music and put it into that scientific approach. And it's fun. Who doesn't like music? You know, who doesn't want to learn with music? So that's what we're trying to do. And say like one of our concepts, one of our first skill, right? Which is focus on what you can control, what's in your control. Grant and I have made a song called In Control. And the affirmation is I'm in control. And you're singing that over and over again. I'm in control. I'm in control. And I can't even sing, but I can still hear the melody in my head. And so I sing with it. And it reminds me as I go through my day, right? And gee, we may as well start on it as we go through our day. The first framework, the first skill, everyone, is what's important now. And this is about focus. And this is about focusing on what's in your control. So if you kind of think about anything you're doing, in any situation you're in, the first thing we want you to think about is what's in my control right here? What's in my control? And think of the word win, right? Because we want to win, right? Whatever we're doing, we want to win at it. WIN stands for what's important now. And what's important now is what's in your control. And when you start to narrow your focus to what's actually in your control, it eliminates like 99% of stuff, right? And then you start to go, okay, what's actually in my control? And Grant, we should probably pick it up right here and talk about what are some of the things that are actually in our control. And then what are some of the common things that we find that are out of our control? And I'll get us going. Working with athletes, working with businesses, musicians, the US Navy. I've worked with performers of all kinds. And what performers want is they want to get great results, right? Of course, they want to win. And one of the ironies of all of this is that the very first thing we have to make peace with is that we actually cannot control results. You cannot control winning. You cannot control making a sale, right? You can't make every single sale. If you're a basketball player, you can't make every single shot. It just doesn't work like that. So one of the first things, the irony, the word win, is we actually can't control winning. And so what we do is we go, okay, for making a list of what's out of our control, what's in our control, one of the first things we put out of control is we put results, we put outcomes. And this one was tough for me because I wanted to be able to control results and outcomes. I want to make it happen. Then I realized how frustrating that was and how much that sabotages your confidence, totally derails everything. And then one thing doesn't go your way, you don't get the result you want, and you're crushed and everything is gone, right? So right away, we have to make peace with, okay, we cannot control results and outcomes. But then we go, well, what's one thing that's in my control? Let's start there, and I'll help us out. One of the things we is in our control is our focus, right? We just start with that. I'm in charge of where I put my focus. Now you hear the word focus all the time, right? People say, hey, focus. We've got to be more specific on that. Focus on what? Because the deal with focus is you're always focused. It just may not be on the right thing. You're always focused on something. It's true. It just may not be the right thing. I may be here connecting with Christy in a call and we're talking and my mind is on what I need to make for dinner later because I recognize I'm hungry. And then all of a sudden my focus goes to food. I'm focused. I'm just not locked in talking to Christy during our one-on-one time. Oh, and you have to remind yourself, wait, what's in my control? Okay, bring it back. Bring it back. So that's one thing. We just start with going, let me start to practice my focus. Let me start to practice. And that just means we have intention. That just means that we work on, let me put my focus on, just start with this, the task at hand. Let me put my focus, like right now, I'm with everyone. I'm right here. Let's do this. Everyone look down at your feet. Everyone check your feet out, right? If you can see your feet, guess what? You got to be where your feet are, right? If your feet are here, you got to be here too. And that's the start of mental training, right? Because people were talking about news earlier. I remember Christy mentioned news. All these things can pull our attention in all these different directions. And what we're working on is going, hey, I'm here. Let me work on bringing my attention and my focus here. And that's the start, right? Because hey, we may as well start to focus on being here. Grant, you know?
Yeah. And I'll add to that and bring it a little bit closer to home when it comes to job search. When we are in the process of transition, or we're in actually the process of interviewing, what are the things that are within our control, and what are the things that are out of our control? Now, I've done a lot of work with executive boot camp. I've done a lot of work with all levels of performers. More often than not, performers tend to get locked in, or they plug into the things that they can't control. So when you think about what's important now, what is important now going into this interview, what is in our control? Our energy, our preparation, making sure that we've done everything to not only understand the opportunity, to understand the company, the culture, understand the person that's interviewing you, but also this wealth of experience that you have. Never forget how special that is. So that means trust. So you're trusting yourself within the control. And so how does this, what's important now, being in control, how does that help you by using music? Well, have you ever watched a movie that has no, well, don't get me wrong, there's some movies that are powerful that have no music, but more often than not, when you listen to music with a motion picture, it brings life to it, right? So like, I'm sure most of us have watched Top Gun this past week or two. When that guitar part comes on, doesn't that do something for you? Doesn't that light you up? And I'm just, as a general, maybe it doesn't, not everyone, but lights me up, right? So using music to get you into control, to get you into trusting yourself, to honoring your preparation, allowing you to get fully into your breath. That's the power of using music and mental skills. And we're only on the first principle here, right? So that's why when we're in the job search, using mental skills and music is going to do a lot to harmonize you in so many different ways.
Yeah, really big. And searching for a job, being in that space, is the exact same thing as being a professional athlete, right? You're in an environment where you go, okay, I want a job, I want to do this, but the truth is I can't control outcomes and results, right? We've already had to acknowledge that. So when you go into the search, when you go in there, like Grant was saying, you go into to be interviewed, let's get on to our second principle, right? Which is being present. This is one thing that's in your control, being present, being in this moment right now, right here, right now. And oftentimes what pulls us out of the present is we're so concerned about the future, right? Is this going to happen for me? Is it not? I want it to happen. I want to avoid loss. I want to make sure I get it. All these things, right? It's all this future orientation of what's going to happen. And what's in our control is we go, okay, I actually don't know what's going to happen. We don't, right? And we have to be okay with that. But what I do know is I'm right here, right now, connecting with this person interviewing me. That's what I do know. And what's important now is for me to be here, for me to be present, to fully be here. In being present, a couple ways to help you out. We mentioned looking at your feet. Hey, be where my feet are, right? Just a little reminder of, oh yeah, this is the place to be, right? This is the place to be. We can find our breath. Our breath is a great tool. You can take a little breath. Whew, right? Your breath is happening right now, right? Your breath is always happening right now. So just by connecting with your breath for a second, that can help you be present, really help you kind of be here. And then using your eyes. What do you see right now in real time, right? You're usually looking at someone when you're being interviewed. Maybe it's over Zoom, maybe it's in person, but you see someone. So connecting with what you see. So it's really important. The second skill that we really work on, being present, even though we can't control what's going to happen. We can't control what's going to happen in the future, but we're here. And being here gives us the best chance to actually have these great results. And let me just share a little bit with you. The best results I've ever seen anybody get, any field, anywhere, is when someone completely forgets about results and outcomes, and they come into the moment and they fully trust everything they're doing. They trust their training. They trust themselves. They trust their skills. They trust everything, and they're fully there being themselves without this crazy concern of getting a result or avoiding loss. They're there. And then later on, they get these amazing results, and they're like, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was engaged in the present moment. So the present is where we want to be. That's where the best performance comes out of. right? Absolutely. And that's what's important now. And that's our second skill, is going, okay, well, since I want to win, what's important now? My focus. Second skill, where should I put my focus? In the present moment. I should be here. I should be here. And this is where you use a little bit of your self-talk, right? Because when your mind goes, yeah, but what's going to happen? What if we don't get it? What if this doesn't work out? This is when you talk to yourself and say, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen. But what I do know is I know I'm going to be here, because that's what's important now. And I do want to win. And this gives me the best chance by being present. If we're not playing present, we're playing ourselves, right? If we're not here, we're missing the whole thing, because life exists right now. That sentence is always true. It's just whether or not you're here with it, right? You're really here. And the more we're here, we give ourselves the best chance to have the best results. So think about this. Instead of our focus being, I've got to get this job, or I got to avoid not getting it, we go, you know what? I'm going to set my goal to be present, because that's the foundation. That's the foundation that lets everything else happen after that. So all we're doing here, and this is the mental skills training, is we're just getting to the root of what matters. You know, I love results. I just don't focus on them because I know how to get them, if that makes sense. I love results. I'm in the business of results. I'm in the craziest business. It's all results. But yet we put our focus on what's important now and being present, you know?
And when you think about achieving greatness, greatness doesn't happen in the future. It doesn't happen in the past. It happens right here, right now. And what I love about accessing our breath to become fully present, when you think about what are we doing when we're actually locking into our breath? We're actually harmonizing and connecting our frequencies, relaxing it, but we're getting more in control, fully present by aligning the system that is going at times. Sometimes our brain does a lot of crazy stuff, and it operates in a very fast manner at times. So not only when you think about music, what's music? It's vibration. So when we're connecting our breath with music, it's in a way of getting really fully present in the moment. And Graham and I know this, and I'm sure there's a lot of you that have done a lot of breath work and been exposed to breath work. There is hundreds of ways of achieving breath work and accessing breath. One that I love is called bee breathing, right? So if we're going into we're listening to some music, maybe if it's classical or new age or MaxConscious music, bee breathing is typically me. I like doing things in 3. So it's 3 breaths, but every time that you inhale, you say be to yourself in your mind, and then you exhale with a calm, and then you be, inhale, relaxed, and then be, inhale, exhale, confidence. Boom, you're locked in. So when you have your breath, you have your mind, and when you have your mind, you have your body. That's what we call being locked in the present moment. So when you have music that's actually the sound drop or the soundtrack of that experience, you're not thinking about, am I going to screw up? Am I not going to get this job? You're fully in control, focusing on the things you can control.
That's it. That's it. Really good. Excellent job, everyone. And people always ask, well, when do I practice being present? Guess what the answer is? Right now. It's right now. So we're working on it right now. In this very moment, we're practicing. This isn't something that you practice there or then and when. Hey, we do it now. You find yourself eating your lunch after this. See if you can actually taste your food. Try to be with it. Notice how we're always trying to get on to something else. It's always something else. Why not strive to arrive? Right? Instead of striving to be somewhere else, strive to be here. And just a little reminder, as always, this is progress over perfection. And then here's a big one. This is principles over feelings. Okay? Because I'm going to bring us into our third skill here. Let's bring ourselves right to that third skill, because focusing on what you can control, being present, that sounds pretty easy, right? It's like, oh, there it is. I mean, that's essentially it, right? Focus on what you can control and be here. That's it. Now, the third skill is where it gets a little more real, right? The third skill is what we call next play speed, or your bounce back ability. The third skill is this: when I lose my focus, when I focus on stuff out of my control, when I leave the present, can I catch myself and come back? And can I do that fast? Can I come back to the present moment, back to what's important now, And can I do that quickly? Does it take me 5 years to come back? Am I still stuck on something that's happened a while ago? I might still be there. Does it take me a month to come back, a week, a day? Can I come back in an hour? What we found with the really high level performance is they can catch themselves focused on something outside of their control. They catch themselves when they leave the present, and they do it really fast. And guess what? They come right back to where their feet are. And this is where the principles over feelings is important, because why do we leave the present moment? There's usually an uncomfortable feeling we're avoiding. That's what we've noticed, right? We leave the present because there's something there that maybe we don't want to experience, or maybe we're anticipating isn't going to feel good. Like, I may not get this. This may not go my way. I don't know if this job's going to happen. So there's a part of us that wants to leave. The third skill, right? Next place speed says, wait a second. Why would I leave the present though? And if I leave, where am I going? And what do I think is going to happen when I'm there anyway? You know, I'm missing out on life. And so you tell yourself, so what? Next play. And you come back to where your feet are, and you set your intention to do that. And when you come back, this is the training. Often when you come back, there's going to be a part of you that's also trying to resist coming back, right? This is like working out. So we go, you know what? I'm going to come back anyway. I'm going to be comfortable being uncomfortable, perhaps. I'm going to allow myself to be a little bit uncomfortable, and I'm going to be here. Or another great affirmation is victory goes to the vulnerable. So oftentimes the present moment, right? You're not in physical danger, but something emotionally is uncomfortable, right? Something scary. So telling yourself, hey, victory goes to the vulnerable can help you come back to where your feet are, come back to the present, be in your body, like Grant was saying. And this is where the music comes in. Music can really help you come back, can help get you into that moment to come back, to help your emotions to come back. But you do have to allow yourself to feel some feelings, right? And that's why we're working on principles over feelings. Because if we just listened to our feelings all the time, we would run away from the present all the time. And running away from the present is like trying to outrun your shadow. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's going to be on you your whole life. And so principles over feelings mean, hey, I feel uncomfortable. Maybe I feel a little scared, but next play speed, this skill means I have to come back. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. And if you look at this like training, right? You go, okay, if I'm a little uncomfortable for maybe a minute or a few seconds, that's actually how I build strength. That's actually how I build mental strength. And the strength is just a willingness to be present in situations that maybe you weren't present before. And you allow yourself to be there, and then you start to have the realization, I'm actually okay. This thing I was afraid of, like perhaps not getting a job or something not going your way. Yeah, that might happen. But then you experience it and you go, it turns out I'm okay. Turns out it's not the end of the world. And then you have the realization, then your energy takes off, and now you're going into interviews and meetings, and you're not afraid to not get the job. You're really there. You're really present. So sometimes we have to experience what we're most resisting. And then we experience it and realize, oh, wow, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. And then once you have that, you realize, hey, I can be present way more than I thought. It's not as bad as I thought. And so your next play speed, right? Willingness to bounce back, to come back. That's a skill that we have to practice. We have to get better at it. And you start with going, hey, why not come back to the present? Why not come back to this place? This is where life exists. And then you start to think, anyway, if you're thinking about the future, when the future shows up, guess what time it is? It's right now.
Right now.
When tomorrow shows up, it's right now. You know what I mean? It's really always right now. If you think about it, it's tough for my brain to get past that, but I'm like, it really is just always right now. And if I can be here with a good next play speed, now I'm not beating myself, right? And if I don't stop myself, how can I be stopped? Think about it. Now, we talk about this. If someone was physically stopping you from applying for the job, right? No, you get like they were trying to stop you. That's a different story. That's like professional sports a lot of times, right? We work with athletes. They'll have people physically trying to stop them from doing what they want to do. That's their joy. And oftentimes right now, the only person that ever is really stopping us is ourselves. So if we can recognize, hey, it's me versus me, and I'm willing to come back to the present with the fast next play speed, and I don't stop myself, guess what? You become unstoppable. Right. So this next play speed is really important.
Hey, Graham, also elaborate a little bit too with pressure, because there's a lot of, when we're searching for a job, when we're in the midst of an interview, when we're trying to pay our bills, it's been a long time since we've had a job. There's all this pressure. So next play speed, explain a little bit about how to deal with pressure and how next play speed can actually get you back into control so you can actually embrace pressure.
Yes. Well, I think you said a really good word right there, right? So first, let's talk about this word pressure, right? And pressure is always an individual experience, right? I might be in a situation with Grant, and Grant feels really confident about a situation. I'm in the same situation. I don't feel like that. So my experience is drastically different than his, right? So first of all, it's all your own personal experience. But he mentioned this, and it's about how we look at those feelings. One of the first really great performers I worked with, I said, "Hey, Tip, what's pressure like for you?" And he looked at me and laughed. And he said, "Graham, what you call pressure, I call joy." And I was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" And I said, "Okay," I was curious. I said, "Okay, well, then tell me what's joy like? When you call it joy, what's your experience with joy?" And he goes, "Joy feels like this. Joy feels like I'm about to go to the bathroom in my pants. Joy feels like my heart is pounding. Joy feels like I have thousands of butterflies in my stomach. Joy feels like all my fears I've ever had are racing around in my head in this very moment." And I said, "That's joy?" He said, "Yeah, that's what I tell myself. And because I tell myself that, I'm willing to be present. I go into it, and then I go do what I love, which is playing the game I love." And I said, "Wow, you're already making a ton of money. You're already doing the job you love, and you still feel that?" He said, "Yes, I feel it every time." And so he called pressure joy. So when we feel pressure, yes, like you're trying to get a job, maybe it's been a while, money is real, all this stuff is really real. You're going to have real feelings. And those feelings often make us scramble, like it's just a reaction. We scramble and we want to leave. But we start with going, wait a second. Let me reframe these feelings into an opportunity. Let me shift it. It doesn't mean they feel different. It just means I'm going to look at them different. And I'm going to call them joy. And if I call them joy, I'm willing to be present with them. I'm willing to be here, willing to be in this moment. And then I'm going to trust all of my skills. And you see how you're talking yourself into the moment? There's nobody who doesn't feel it. When I work with the US Navy or the Army, when I first started working with them, they said, "Oh, I'm fearless." I said, "Oh, you don't feel fear?" They're like, "No, we're fearless." I said, "Let's just pause. You don't feel fear?" They were like, "No, we feel fear. We just tell ourselves certain mantras to keep us going forward." And I was like, so you feel fear. That's normal. It's normal to feel fear. So it's normal to feel some sort of pressure, everybody. It's normal to have these feelings. But what's in our control is reframing them into an opportunity. We have a choice how we look at these feelings. We do. And I mentioned it before I got on this Zoom with everyone. How was I feeling? I was feeling all of it, all of this stuff. But I was doing the mental skills in that moment, right? I was doing it. And guess how I feel now? Absolutely euphoric, right? Because I'm doing what I love. But I still had to deal with those feelings. I had to tell myself pressure was joy, and I had to go into the present. I mean, what if I just left? It was like, I don't want to be here. I'm not going to talk today. It's like, no, I'm going to feel it all and show up. So that helps you with your next play speed, right? That ability to reframe things, to coach yourself through it, to tell yourself, this is where I want to be. So what, next play, I am going to be here. I am going to show up in this moment. I am going to come back. So we all feel feelings. We all feel it. Now, how you look at those feelings is up to you. And Grant and I say pressure is joy. Does that make a little bit of sense? That ability? Okay. And we're not talking about moments. We're not saying go to the 5th story of a building and jump off that, you'll be safe. No, that's physical danger. Physical danger is real. We're talking about moments where there's not physical danger, yet you still feel the pressure, right? Like going into an interview. You're not in danger. You're not in danger whatsoever, but you're still going to feel a lot, right? You're going to feel a whole bunch, but you start by telling yourself, I want to be here. I want to be where my feet are. This is what's important now. And if you want to leave the moment, you say, no, I want to come back. Pressure is joy. I want to be here. And now you've just done a great job with your next play speed. That is high level mental skills work, everyone. Phenomenal job. And then you start to realize, guess what? Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is an action. You can feel really uncomfortable and still be really confident in the present moment. because you know, hey, this principle, I'm safe being present. I'm safe using a fast next play speed. Even if it feels weird or uncomfortable or vulnerable, you're totally safe. Now, if we leave the present, even if you think you're helping yourself out in a moment, I actually think that's not very safe for you at all, to vacate the present moment and to take off. Even if you think it's helping you, I think we have to really come back with our principles and go, wait a second, what's important now? I'm present. And if I want to leave, fast next play speed. Now we're in the interview. Now we're connecting, and you're really performing now, right? You're really performing. And whether you get the job, whether you don't, what's going to happen after is you're going to have this incredible experience of, wow, I was really there. I really showed up for myself. I really leaned into that. And that unlocks incredible energy inside of you, the most palpable, contagious energy. And it's you doing a great job working out. You're proud of yourself when you're in that present during a moment where usually you thought, I don't want to be here. You end up being really proud and gaining all kinds of incredible, like, confidence that, and I'm being real with this, confidence beyond getting the job or not. You've developed this thing in you where you're like, wait a second, I have a deeper level of confidence and connection here. Whether I get a job or not, I know I'm on the right path and I'm going to keep showing up. And that becomes, whew, that's powerful, right? You can feel that. Just talking about it, you can feel it. But this comes back from what? Acknowledging I'm going to leave the present. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to lose my focus, but I'm going to get good at my next play speed. I'm going to get good at bouncing back. So we're acknowledging there's no such thing as perfection, but we can make progress. And we're acknowledging this is about principles over feelings. If we just follow feelings, we'll get lost in life, you know?
Right. Well, you know, when you think about it, when you reframe the energy of pressure into joy, you move better. Your brain moves better, your body moves better. So you can actually, you're allowing yourself to actually get to the next play, to the next thing faster. Now, on the other side of pressure, if it's crippling you, if you're losing your breath, you're tight, you're frustrated, really hard to go from one play to the next, you're stuck. So that's why with pressure of interviewing and getting that job and explaining your 19 years of experience accurately, like, there's a lot of pressure there. But if we can actually reframe that energy, welcome it, embrace it, our next play is going to be fantastic. And when you think about bouncing back, you think about a comeback, everybody loves a comeback, right? So when you're teaching yourself how to get to the next play, you're staying more focused. You're not thinking about what just happened. I say the two most important words in performance is now and next. What am I doing right now in this very moment to get ready for the next thing? So when you think about next play speed, when you get triggered or you get out of focus or you get distracted, there's space that happens right after that happens for you to respond. And that's where training ourselves, that space, we're training the space, and that space is quick sometimes, right? So especially in an interview when maybe we forgot something, or our mind goes blank, or we didn't like the way we answered that question. How do we get back into the present moment? How do we get to the next play speed, right? And when we think about like the comeback, right? I'm sure we all watched Rocky. We know when Rocky comes back because the music comes on. So when we're actually getting prepared for our interviews, I want to put your Rocky song on. What's that song? Like the song that I had since I was 10 years old. What's that song that's going to elevate you, activate you, give you more confidence to believe in your emotions? Because the more you're doing that, your next play speed, bouncing from one play, one moment to the next, is going to be smooth and confident.
That's right. And the music is such a great way to get you in your zone. And remember, every zone is different. I know. So like for me, some days it's, whoa, I really got to come down. Like I'm really active or there's a lot of energy and it's about me coming down. So sometimes we'll use a slower pace music to bring myself down. And some days the energy is lower and I need to bring myself up. So you use a more active music to bring yourself. The key is recognizing where you are and then knowing what you need to get yourself in your zone, right? And get yourself in your space. And one thing to think about, and I think we should probably roll on to our fourth skill here. Let's move it right on, is we have a fourth skill. And this fourth skill, and let's go the first one again. The first one again is focus. What's important now? Focusing on what you can control. That's the first one. And then number 2 was being present, right? That's a skill, playing present. And the third one, next play speed. Hey, can I bounce back when I lose my focus, right? This fourth skill is, how do we bounce back? And we call it palms down. And I'm going to explain to you what this means. This is about our body language. This is about the grace. This is about the poise. This is about how in the moment, right? Maybe something's not going our way, right? Like Grant said, we're in the interview and we're explaining what we've been doing, and we fumble on some words, or we fumble on our story a little bit. There's a natural reaction, and we see this everywhere for this. There's this universal reaction of, oh shit, like something just happened. If I could just do it again. And you go palms up and you react to the first emotion. Palms down. Let's say you're sitting there in that interview, you're talking and you fumble through some words, or in your mind, you make a mistake, right? Have something happen where you're like, oh, that was off. And you feel it. You feel the impulse. The first start is I feel the impulse, but instead of doing this, just going with the impulse, right? At least in your mind, you're like this. I'm okay. I'm going to choose my response. Palms down is about choosing how you respond to the energy and emotion that hits you in the moment, right? This is the first reaction a lot of times. This is the mindful response. This is going, okay, watch how well my next play speed is. Watch how well I bounce back, palms down, choosing my response. And now you're reconnecting with the interviewer. You've got through that moment. You're totally engaged, and you've just had an incredible next play speed and a great palms down moment. And it was all internal. It was all inside. Like inside of you, you had fireworks going off, electricity, because this wanted to happen. But you worked your way through, took your breath, all while you were engaged with who you were talking to, and in your mind chose your response and worked through that. That's high level. And everyone is capable of this. Everyone is capable of recognizing this, right? Someone could cut you off in traffic. You could be in line in a store. This happens all the time. You get bad information. You're looking at the news. I can't believe they did that. Whatever it is, this is how we go to a higher level. We choose our response. Is stuff outside of your control going to happen? All the time. All the time. But we can be present. We can have a fast next play speed, and we can have poise under pressure. And you know what happens when you start to have poise under pressure and you choose your response and your body language is here? It is the most inspiring thing to be around. If anyone's ever been around someone who has the ability to harmonize the energy in a room, it's amazing to be around. We've all been around this. What about this and that? And we're like, and we try to go do it, right? We've all been around that. That's not how we thrive. So when someone's doing this, you choose your response. And you start to hold your own space and realize, wait, no matter what's going on outside of me, I always have a choice to choose my response. And I keep doing the palms down thing because at first you do practice this and you'll see it. You'll start to see it. You'll see this everywhere. And then you see it with athletes for sure. You'll see the ones that are figuring it out. They're like, wait a second, I'm okay in this moment. It's a tough moment. Nothing's going my way. Well, watch how I come back to the present. I'm still going to trust, still going to be here. Right? Victory to the vulnerable. So that's our fourth skill, and it's called palms down. And it's all about choosing your response to all the electricity and all the energy that's going to hit you. It's going to, right? This is part of the human experience, but we also have a choice on how we respond to it. This sends the universal signal that I'm just reacting mindlessly. All this stuff is happening. This universally sends the signal that you're aware, you're conscious, you're choosing your response. And there's a whole different level of experience, right? We call this a conscious energy officer, a leader, a CEO. They know how to choose their response. And that sends a message to everyone around them. The most powerful message is sent around. It's uplifting. It's incredible. The best coaches and leaders I've seen, they've learned to do this. And they learn that's way more important than any of the logic they have in their brain. It's way more important. What's the energy? What's the energy that you're putting around? Are you choosing your response? And that becomes super powerful. So that's our fourth skill. And we call it palms down.
All right. And we all have gone through this. When someone says, calm down, we know what that makes us feel, right? Calm down. Don't tell me to calm down, right? So we need to teach ourselves how to do palms down. And it's a switch. It's actually, you're switching your energy, and you're not telling yourself to calm down. It's palms down. So you're switching energy in the moment. Real quick, I want to make sure that we're going to build in some time to share with you the power of our music and our mental skills, MVP, meditation, visualization, and powerful self-talk. But really quick, Graham, can you just share with them when and how to activate some of these mental skills for job search? And the reason why I want Graham to explain this a little bit, because when you think about mental skills, right, you do it right here, right now. You don't have to lift weights. You don't have to break a sweat, right? I call it the law of two easies. It's really easy to do, and it's easy not to do, right? So when you think about this work, the more that you can get in doing it and getting that rhythm consistently every day for a long time, it will pay off. So Graham, when do they do it? What do they start with?
Yeah, great stuff. Remember, this is all about repetition. This is a skill set. It's a practice. So we've worked on 4 skills today, right? And the first one is focus on what's important now. Then we're playing present. Then we have our next play speed. And then we have palms down. You simply start with that today, right? And you have a framework, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and you practice in each situation, framing it up. Hey, what's in my control right here? How am I doing being present? And you just start there. And you start with doing that, right? Just through the rest of your day, right? This isn't something you're going to practice tomorrow. Hey, let's do it right now, right? We're all engaged right now. You practice being here right now and learning to focus on what you can control. It's going to take a little practice because oftentimes maybe we've been conditioned to focus on stuff we can't control. So it takes a little bit of practice, but a really simple way to start is if you have like a piece of paper or a notebook, you draw a line down the middle, you have in control on one side, out of control on the other. And as you're going through your day and stuff's coming up for you and you feel yourself engaged with it, say, hey, wait, is this in my control or out? Is me thinking about what happened 4 years ago with this person and what they're doing, is that any of that in my control? And you start to make this list just to build your awareness. So that's our start, Grant. That's the start for everyone. We're starting just to build your awareness. And from the awareness, then it's about practicing and just getting the repetition in.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna bring in our music, but as I'm setting this up, Graham, share with them a little bit. We're gonna actually have Graham walk you through an MVP. So whoever wants to participate in this meditation to get fully locked into the present moment, this is actually a song that it's actually the instrumental of this song, and it's called Invitation. And it's from our very first album called Reflect. So as I bring this up, let me see if I can find it here. You want to walk them through a little bit what they're going to be getting into, Graham?
Yeah. So here's what we're doing. We're going to do a little MVP, getting ready to interview. We're going to do it, make it real for everyone. So a little practice, getting locked in before you go into your interview, getting fully present. The meditation, right? We're going to spend 1 or 2 minutes just kind of focusing on our breath. You don't have to clear your mind or anything like that. There's this misconception with meditation that I have to be totally focused, clear my mind. No, you might have a million thoughts going on in your mind, and that's okay. Just let them be there. Then we're going to visualize. So we're going to go through in our mind and visualize doing the interview. We're going to imagine it like it's real, like we're really going through it. And then at the end, I'm going to have you say some powerful self-talk to yourself, some positive affirmations to help you with this stuff. This will take us about 5 minutes. And this is a nice little routine to do an MVP before you go perform. So with executives or athletes or folks I'm working with, they always have a little routine before they go into their meetings, before they go into their performance. And what we'll do right here, this is a great little example of a nice little 5-minute MVP to help you get locked in before you go do your thing.
Cool. I think we probably have like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, but
yeah, we'll do a little. Oh yeah, we got to do a little bit less. I don't want to keep everyone past 9. Okay, we'll be quick.
Right. Let me bring this in.
All right, still hear it? Everyone hear it? Okay. Can everyone still hear me? Okay. I'm going to invite everyone. This will take us about 3 minutes. Just click on anything they have in their hand. Make yourself comfortable at your desk. And I'm going to invite you, want you to close your eyes. so good being present. I want you to imagine yourself in the interview right now, telling your story. Full heart, fully being, fully authentic, trusting all of your training. See yourself connecting as if they were a friend, and you're just having a conversation. In your mind, you tell yourself, I focus on the present, and I let go of what I can't control. I want you to just bring yourself back to your breath. I know everyone's got a roll. Just bring yourself back to your breath, and when you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself back. Open your eyes back up whenever you're ready. All right, good job, everyone. I know we just got here right to 9 o'clock, so I know if anyone's got a roll, go ahead and keep yourself moving to what's next. That was just a little experience.
So that was great. Okay, so tell us about like how we get your music and your program and how we get your program. I know I'm going through it and I'm a huge fan. You know that, Graham. It's like it's easy, the law of two easies, right? It's really easy to do and it's easy not to do. So it's taking discipline for me to go through the process. And but it's phenomenal. It's like it has shifted me in a way that I would never experienced.
Well, I'm so grateful for that. Grant and I have built a program where we train a really simple way. We train with music. So we introduce all these principles and we share it with everyone through little videos, little audios and songs. And our program's called MaxConscious. So that's our company, and it's designed to maximize human consciousness and help you bring out your best in performance and fulfillment in life. And we combine some of the training that we just taught you with maximizing consciousness, and we bring it in an everyday way. So we've built it for you. We've built it for folks so everyone has access to it. And it's our passion to do it. It's what we love. And so, yeah, come check us out. And if we're not the right fit, it's totally okay. But I would encourage everyone, this is important for you. And my direct ask is make sure you're working on yourself. Make sure you're developing your mental skills. These are skills. This isn't like a miracle or some quick fix thing. This is an everyday practice. So find where you feel aligned, find where you feel connected. And if MaxConscious is the right place for you, we're here. And we'd love to connect with you. It's been great working with Christy. Christy's helped me out so much. It's been amazing building the program. So, and music-wise, Grant and I have made a ton of music together. Streaming, Graham the Guide is my music name, Graham the Guide. And right now, Grant and I have about 40 songs out there, all different versions.
Crazy.
Yeah, we got a lot of music. We have about 3 or 4 more albums that we'll be releasing soon. Some of the music, like the MaxConscious music, you get that if you come join the program. So we do have some music that's exclusive for that program. And we'd love for you to check it out. But our music is here to help. It's here to help with your mindset. And we're just really thankful that everyone had us on today. And it's been
Okay,
amazing.
Samra has a question. Let's go ahead and have Samra.
Yeah, this was just amazing. I was emotional.
Okay.
I mean, this is just hit my heart. Just amazing. But Graham, I couldn't hear the affirmations.
Okay. Maybe we could do another one another time, and I could do some more. I think the affirmations I said today, I focus on what I can control. I had you guys say that to yourself.
Okay.
I forgot the other one I say now off the top of my head.
You said something about just having a conversation with potential, colleagues or something. There was something about it's just about a conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just having a conversation with the interviewer. It's you and a friend just talking, opening your heart, sharing yourself with an open heart. No concern over results and outcomes. I'm just enjoying the conversation. That's the whole key to all this. You just engage in what you're doing without getting caught up in what's going to happen after, right? You just get caught. Oh, I'm having a wonderful conversation with someone, getting to open my heart and share my story. That's it. That's all we're doing. There's nothing else after. And if I keep doing that, the most amazing things happen. But don't get caught up in what's going to happen later and what's that. Get caught up in what you're doing now. as best you can.
It's really fascinating how the brain works. For us to be able to shift so quickly has been mind-boggling to me. So no more do we, have to be stuck in this, kind of feeling. It's like we can break free from it really pretty easily. And you guys mentioned this, the vibration of music shifts it.
That's right.
So what do you see happening in the industry out there? When are these things going to be more mainstream?
Ooh, well, I would say this: 20 years ago, when I got into sports psychology, there was huge stigmas against it, and it was, people were like, "You're crazy going into that field." Now it's everywhere, right? So mental training, whether it's Headspace or Calm, there's all these wonderful companies doing great stuff. I think mental training with music, I think we're on the forefront of that right now. I think it's based on how well we keep doing it. It's based on if it helps everyone here, then this will keep making traction. I know me and Grant love it. Like, we love making music. We love mindset.
Well, like I said, I'm going through the program and I listen to those songs over and over and over again. It's like words aren't as impactful as the songs are with the words.
Right. I tend to agree. And I'm like, man, if I could go back to school again and we imagine learning through music, I feel like, one, you're just going to engage so many more people with music. And I'm not saying we make music that everyone likes, right? We all have our own taste in music, but in general, people like music, right? So you can find music that you like. And in fact, if anyone has a certain genre of music they want us to make songs with, tell us. We can make music in any genre. We can create in any space, from classical music, country, rap, hip hop, reggae, rock, you name it. We love it. So yeah, I mean, music, music opens people's hearts. And so if we're doing all this mindset stuff, you can't be in this logical, this is how it works, it's all this and that. We're asking you to open your heart and feel feelings. We're essentially asking you to dance, right? To learn how to be in a rhythm with life, to be in this thing. And what better way than music, than that?
This is really incredible. So I have to ask a question. Are you guys going to come back?
Anytime you want us, we're
awesome. And we're going to send out the recording of this to our entire community. And we have a YouTube channel, and you guys are going to be on the YouTube channel now, and super excited about that. And can't wait to hear more about what you guys are doing and with the progress that you've been able to make out there, and the impact that you have on others is really, really impressive. And I so appreciate it. It's just incredible. So more to come. Send us whatever we can send out to people so that they can take advantage of the learning. And this is a recording I'm sure that people are going to listen to over and over and over again. Hey, before we go, one other question from Rand Paul.
Hey, it's not a question, but I just want to make a comment saying this is amazing session. First of all, when I heard all these words, meditation, breathing, calm down, it took me back to my childhood days from India, where the teachers, the yogis, the rishis, that's all they teach. And it builds the mental skills before teaching any formal education, like 1+1=2 or ABC. All those things can be learned later, but once you have these mental skills, it helps you great. And I just wanted to make a comment. This is amazing session. And I wonder if you got some of this inspiration from the Indian, scriptures, the books, or the music that they're playing temple are all like, calm music. So I wonder if you got any inspiration from the Indian heritage.
Man, yeah, absolutely. I got introduced to this stuff in 1997. I was 19 years old. I was going through a really rough time, my first year of college basketball. I call my mom and say, I'm really anxious, really depressed, on a payphone. I'm lost. And she says, did you know you can rewire your brain? And then she introduced me to the San Francisco Healing Center, and everything you were saying, that's the root of everything I was taught. It all came from the ancient yogi traditions. The ancient yogi science has been around for 30,000 years. And it was later on that I found sports psychology, and I was like, oh, I'll take sports psychology and launder all of this great information through sports. Because I thought if I can bring it through sports, I could help normalize this for people, right? Because it seemed like if we can make it normal, make it practical, make it reasonable, then everyone could practice it. So yeah, I'm glad you picked that up. That's absolutely where I got it from. Yeah.
This is great. Okay, one more. Vanessa, we got to have you, you have your hand raised, so we're not going to end without you.
Just really quick, I've been working with Grant and in one-on-one, and he's been amazing and made such a huge difference. And you know, if you have your breath, you have your mind, and if you have your mind, you have your body. And it's really helped a lot. So yeah, what you guys are doing is amazing. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to send out the link for their program. And like I said, and it's sales oriented, but it's everything. It's like whether you're in sports, whether you're in sales, whether you're in business or as an entrepreneur, this stuff is good and it is absolutely helping. So we'll send out the link for the program, and so excited to have you and can't wait to have you guys back. And I am thrilled with what you guys are giving to the world. And I think that you guys are on to something really, really special. So looking forward to all the success that you guys are going to have. And thank you so much for being here.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, bye, everybody.
Amazing.
Nice.